Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie. Firstly, please excuse my nose. I've got a bit of a cold and so it's really red from blowing it. I know. I've been putting cream on it, but hey, show must go on, right? I want to talk about the fact that life is really expensive right now. This whole cost of living crisis thing, it's real. I actually have been living in Spain for a period of time and I did notice the cost of things going up there, and then I moved back to the UK and I've definitely also noticed, in fact I've noticed it in the UK way more than in Spain, because in Spain it was kind of going up while I was there, whereas in the UK it's literally been a case of once upon a time it cost this much and now it costs this much. So it's a bit more obvious to me, the cost in the UK. Now, why am I telling you this about having lived in Spain and now living in the UK? Well, the reason is because when I moved from Spain to the UK, I actually had no idea, I still have no idea how long I'm actually going to be in the UK for. The property I was moving into is my own. It's the home that I own and I used to live in it, so I used to have stuff in it. But then when I rented it out, I was advised to basically get rid of most of my stuff and only have the bare bone basics, because people like to bring their own things and things get broken. Don't I know it? So in moving back into my own property, I did not know how long I was going to be here for. I could be here for a few weeks, it could be a few months, it could be forever, don't know. While I'm figuring that out, I didn't really want to start buying a load of things, especially if I was only going to be here for a period of weeks. I may well be selling my property and then going straight back to Spain. I might be selling it and then going into some rented accommodation while still deciding, or whatever. Anyway, point is, future's very open about what I'm doing. So I didn't want to be buying loads of furniture, especially if I'm either going to be leaving or going into rented accommodation, and decor as well, obviously not. And so I was like, oh, how am I going to do this without spending a fortune on a load of new things just to then have to get rid of them again, or have to lose out on that money, especially because money is really freaking tight right now. I know I'm not alone with this. I'll be all right in the long term, by the way, so don't feel sorry for me, I'm okay. It's just in the short term. When I moved back into my property, all I had here was 4 items. I had a sofa, a wardrobe, some drawers, and a bed. That's not even including the mattress. That's a whole nother video from a while ago as to why I didn't have certain other things. But anyway, that's all I had. I didn't have towels, I didn't have cutlery, I had no TV, nothing else at all whatsoever. So in today's video, I want to go through all the things in my house and show you that there is a way of doing your house that is affordable. I have borrowed things, I have gotten things gifted, not necessarily from friends and family, also from certain apps that people literally give away things. I've been foraging in second-hand shops and things like that for the things that I couldn't source any other way. And out of everything in here, I can honestly say I've actually bought very few items. In fact, I'd say it's probably so few items that I've actually bought that I will actually even point those out in the video just to make the point. Okay, let's show you around. I'm starting in the kitchen because, to be quite honest, if I didn't have drawers to put my clothes in, I'd just fold them up and put them on the floor, worst case scenario. But in the kitchen, if I want to be eating my chicken soup, I'm going to need a bowl to put it in. So that's why I'm starting in the kitchen. Mugs, because I'm British and we love to have a cup of tea. So I was gifted most of my mugs by a friend of mine. You all might know her from previous videos. Her name is Shazanix. But I also couldn't quite believe this happened, but I was going for a little walk in my local area, and would you believe it? I came across a cardboard box with a load of mugs in that said free. Look at that. Look at that. mug that said Stephanie. I was so excited. I was like, oh, it's meant to be. I have to have this mug. I'll read it to you actually. It says Super Stephanie. Stephanie is the tops. Of that there is no doubt. She brings joy wherever she goes by giving her smiles out. I love it. I love it. I was just so utterly excited by this mug. Then we've got plates and bowls. I was given bowls of various sizes as well as some small plates by one of my sisters just because they just didn't need them. Plates I actually got from an app called Olio, and really strangely I spotted these plates and they're the same ones I had when I was a kid. So I was really excited about that because it was really nostalgic. Cutlery and kitchen utensils. Now, my dad was having a bit of a clear out, so I nicked his ones that he was going to be getting rid of. There is one exception to that though, and that is a sharp knife. Because my dad did give me one, but it was super blunt, and even after I sharpened it at his house, it was still really, really, really rubbish. So I bought a new knife because I did, because I need to be able to cut my veg, okay? That's why. I also borrowed, my dad had about 3 different pairs of kitchen scissors, so I borrowed a pair, which I will be returning. As we're talking about borrowing things from my dad, I also borrowed tea towels because he had like hundreds of them. I don't know why people have so many tea towels. I just use one, wash it, use it, wash it. Anyway, tea towels. I borrowed tea towels, and I also borrowed a board so that I can cut my bread. Not that I ever cut bread. I cut lots of things on here, but never bread. Okay, while we're looking in the cupboard, I also have pots and pans. Now, I'm going to be really straight up and honest with you here, okay? These are ones that other people no longer needed, and let's face it, if somebody's upgraded their pots and pans, it's for a reason. Obviously, you're going to find things that are like, you know, oh, pasta. I thought there was no point in putting like my pasta in an actual jar, so I just put the pasta and the rice. The things that cook inside this actual pot are the things I just put it inside it and kept them there. Save space. Anyway, as you can see, these are like not great, and that's actually why the person who gave them to me was getting rid of them, because they were like upgrading. But then I figured that if I'm only gonna be here for a certain amount of months, then it's like really, you know, fine, whatever. Like, it's okay to have some that are a little bit like not great. I mean, it's not like the stuff transfers onto my food, so it's fine. And even if it does, I've survived this far. I've also got multiple sartén. What's that in English? Oh, I've forgotten. Frying pan. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That's really embarrassing. I just forgot the English word. I should have edited that bit out, but let's face it, I'm not going to. Yeah, frying pans, again, another thing that like people have like no longer needed, and so I've now inherited them, and I will at some point actually do a video of the stuff I'm going to be getting rid of, because let's face it, I don't need everything that I was given, so let's find stuff for new homes. I also couldn't quite believe this. I got given a drying rack. Before I came to England, I knew that this would be my circumstances, so I sent out a text message to a load of like my friends and family and stuff that were in the, well, roughly in the local area, to see if anyone had any spares of certain items. But one of the ones that I really didn't anticipate anyone would have a spare one of was a drying rack to put my cups and stuff on once I've washed them up. Because I thought, well, who would have a spare one of those? But guess what? One of my friends did have a spare one, because she bought one, but because she's got upper cabinets, the drying rack didn't fit underneath the cabinet, so she ended up having to get a different one. And so I got that one, which is amazing, and I was quite surprised by this. I also got a microwave. That one I found on an app called Olio. I think I might have mentioned that before. I'm not sponsored by Olio, but I might actually just put it in the description that I've used this app, because although I'm not sponsored by it in any way, shape or form, it's pretty good, and most of the stuff that I've been given for free that are not from friends and family came from that app, which is great. So I'll probably link that one in the description. My kettle. My kettle actually used to be mine, but I obviously, when I left, I gave it to someone else, and then when that person was doing up their kitchen, they gave it back to me, so even better. So I suppose technically I paid for it, but it's certainly not something that I was expecting to have back. In my living room, I also have a load of free items. For example, I was having a chat with my dad one day and he was saying that he got himself some new cushions. So I said, "Ooh, can I have your old ones, please?" Yeah. So, lovely cushions. Thankfully, they're my cup of tea. Then also this lamp here I got from the Olio. Someone was throwing it out and nothing wrong with it, came including the bulb. Then this, I know this is a really random one, I get it, but this tissue box cover, I know it sounds funny, but you have tissue boxes on show and I just think that they're pretty ugly. I mean, as far as tissue boxes go, this is probably the most attractive one I've ever seen, but regardless, I thought, ooh, this was free, someone was getting rid of it. I was like, yeah, I'll take that, why not? And then I've also got, oh, the TV. The TV was free as well, yes. My neighbour had a TV that they didn't want, so they gave it to me. Wonderful, it works, it's perfect, just free, yeah. And then lastly, in my living room, I have this little side table. I was throwing some garden waste down my local dump and someone had thrown this table away. There was nothing wrong with it, it was in perfect condition. So I took it home. It wasn't white, it was a dark brown. I painted it white just because it would go better with my decor. But that leads me on to something else, and that is the fact that paint. I decorated the entire house recently. I painted every single wall, all the skirting boards, everything. And would you believe that the vast majority of the paint was free? Yes, because there were people who had painted and they had those massive, great big tubs of paint and they didn't need all of the paint and they were only recently used, and so they gave them to me. Obviously, making sure that they're the same types of paint. I wouldn't put like one type of paint on the wall and then put another type of paint on the wall. But yeah, so even paint was free, except the blue paint. When you see the blue paint in my bedroom, that was not free. I paid for that because I wanted a really specific colour. Talking of which, let's head to my bedroom. In my bedroom, the mattress was actually given to me. It was actually a swap. I gave someone some old curtains that I no longer needed, and in return they gave me a mattress. Also a mattress topper, because the mattress was, well, put it this way, they were getting rid of it for a reason. So the mattress topper was one that a neighbour no longer needed. This little desk I actually got from a junk shop for £35, and it comes with a little chair, but the little chair is actually away in storage at the moment because I didn't want to sit on it when I found out that it was worth £300. So I replaced it with this one, which was left at the side of the road with a message saying free. Then in the bathroom, we've got my soap dispenser and toothbrush and toothpaste holder. They were also free from Olio. Bathroom bin, again, free from Olio, nothing wrong with it, perfect condition, just somebody that was moving. Now down here, I've got something where I can keep stuff in the bathroom. I know it's ugly as hell. I was thinking of spray painting it, but I don't really care too much because I'm not going to be here for long. And then even my towel. My towel was free. Yeah. And the last thing that I actually got for free, again, is I was going for a little walk in my local area and a lady was throwing out some of these, well, it's like laundry drying things that hang on the radiators, and this one as well, the ones that just like freestanding. And I asked her if there was a reason she was throwing them out, and she said that literally it's just because she's got one of the ones, you know, the ones you plug in that heat up. I used to have one of those, they're amazing. So that was the only reason that she was getting rid of them. And so I thought, you know what, if I'm only going to be here for a few weeks or 6 months or so, then actually that could be, you know, something I can just use in the short term, and that'd work fine for me. So I took them home with me. And yeah, anyway, I'm gonna carry on hanging out my laundry and wrap up the video there. But I hope that this has given you some at least ideas of the fact that despite the fact that things are very expensive at the moment, you can still be able to decorate your house. You can still be able to, you know, source things for free or for very little money, or borrow things. Like, for example, a lot of the time when I needed to do things like drilling, I wouldn't buy a drill. I'd borrow I'd borrow a drill from my sister, I borrowed a screwdriver from my dad, you know, that sort of thing. So just there are ways for us to keep the costs down, you know. It's tight times when it comes to money, but there are definitely ways. There is also even borrowing libraries, like as in not just for books, but as in for stuff. You can actually borrow stuff from a library for like a very small fee. I've never done that, but well, I would definitely look it up if I needed to try that at some point. Anyway, I'll wrap it up there. But I just wanted to give you a few ideas. Yes, if I was going to stay here long term, I would probably upgrade from this old type to another one when I could afford to do so. But for the next few months, it's fine as it is. You know, we make do. Anyway, I do hope you guys are not feeling the pinch too much. And if you are, then just, there's always light at the end of the tunnel eventually. All right? Promise you. Okay. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you next week. And yeah.